Hi, my name is Jane and welcome to my channel on how to launch your first online training business. In today's video, I'm going to compare Copilot inside Zapier and ChatGPT for your automation ideas and questions. So I'm going to demo one example and see what ChatGPT gives me versus what Copilot gives me so that you can see the differences between different AI tools. The goal of this video is not to just rely on AI completely, it's to partner and work together and collaborate with AI to save you time so that when you get the right idea of what you're looking to build in your business for automations, then you can hand it off to a developer. While AI is very effective, but as always, the machine can make some mistakes, so you always want to have someone who is an expert check the results and make sure that the accuracy of what they're giving you is spot on, because otherwise you will find that the machine is making up answers that isn't accurate, and then it's going to lead you on the wrong path. So as always, check with a human being or a developer who is more familiar with logic and programming and how automation in these applications work. And now let's get started with this tutorial. In this video, I'm going to compare the results that ChatGPT can give you versus what Zapier can give you. The reason why I wanted to make this video is to show that there are some nuances and that you can't always rely on ChatGPT. You definitely need to verify and check that the results and the steps that they're giving you for an automation is exactly what is available in Zapier, because there are inaccuracies sometimes because ChatGPT is searching and they may not always have exactly the right answer. The machine only knows as much as we give them. As always, it says ChatGPT can make mistakes and check important information. So I'm going to compare the results of using ChatGPT versus using Copilot, which is integrated into Zapier. While I've said before that you should just use Copilot inside Zapier, it also is a good idea to sometimes get familiar with other AI tools so that you can see what the differences are and why it's important to use the tools that are built into Zapier, because Copilot is trained in all these Zapier applications. So let's look at this use case where I want a report of all users who are issued a certificate upon completion in my Thinkific course. So what Copilot is doing is checking to see if this automation sequence can be done. So as they search and search, they've given me some ideas, like if once the course is completed, I can set up a Google Sheet, and then from that Google Sheet, I can set up headings and rows so that the data is populated correctly. Now then I can ask Zapier, to build this automation. Now I forgot to tell Zapier that I want to filter the certificate based on how many times they took the course. So students may have taken the course once, they may have taken it twice. My whole idea is I want to know how many times in a report that the student took the course and how many times did it take them to pass so that they got their certificate, because this is data that I want to give to a employer. This is the data that I want to be able to provide to a company to say, here are the results of the students who took the course, how many attempts, how many people got a report, how many people got a certificate of completion based on the number of times they took the course, because maybe I just want to restrict it to exactly 2 tries. And then let's compare to what ChatGPT says. So I said I want to automate a report of all users who are issued a certificate of completion in my Thinkific course. Can you tell me what the steps are? So ChatGPT has given me a couple ideas. One is Zapier, which is probably most common, and then they've given me this other idea called using Make into Gromat, and then they've given me the other option, which is using Thinkific's API. And so I think this is helpful, and then let's just filter and compare these results. Now, Zapier is probably the easiest and most common because Thinkific is an application available inside Zapier. Now, I have never heard of using Make, which is into Gromat, and I would never personally go with this option if I've never used it, because it takes me too much time and I would have to follow each step and I could make a mistake. Now, 3, using Thinkific API. This is very interesting. And if I am new to Thinkific API and I do not have a developer on my team, I would check this, because some of this is accurate and some of this isn't accurate. For example, there is a Thinkific API. They do have an endpoint, but you have to be careful about pulling the data correctly. One of the things that they said is if you use Thinkific certificates, the data is tied to course completion, so you don't need a separate trigger. And then they ask me, and then they asked me if I would like to walk them through, would I like ChatGPT to walk me through one specific setup with exact field mappings. This is the example that ChatGPT gave me. Let's take a look at Zapier. Zapier gave me very similar, almost exactly the same results. Now the next thing is that I asked Zapier, I want to filter it based on how many times they took the course. And then Zapier will ask me, how do I want to filter that? And do I want to filter it based on, do I want the report to show students who passed on their first attempt, multiple attempts? And so this is great because I'm getting more specific about what I'm looking for, which I may not have known when I first started this automation. So I can say my specific criteria, filtering criteria, is based on how many attempts a student tried, a maximum of 2. So I want to know specifically if a student attempted it, how many times. I want a specific report about how many students who took this course twice passed and got a completed certificate. So let's see how Copilot does. And even if I don't spell it, that's okay, because they can detect the closeness to what I'm trying to say. So then they say, okay, this requires a course completed trigger, Zapier tables to track the attempt history, and then logic to account attempts and only proceed if the count is less than or equal to 2. So this is a little bit more of a complex Zapier. I can review this and then ask them to continue. Now let's try this in ChatGPT. If I want to filter the report in Zapier based on 2 attempts, how do I do it? So ChatGPT will then give you the exact steps, but they will not build it and set it up for you. This is to give you the steps to do it yourself, but you always want to check and test it. So they give you a couple different scenarios of how that might look based on whether the user completed the course, and then how to filter and how to set up the logic conditions. This is a little bit of a similar output, but a little bit different. Whereas in Zapier, they based it off of course. In Zapier, it's a little bit different. They track completions and then they store it in a table to enforce the 2 attempt maximum. So remember, how you prompt is really necessary. And while ChatGPT is great, there's nothing like Copilot, which is built in, because now they know what I'm trying to do. They know the applications that I'm trying to automate and set up this report, and I can continue with the Zap editor. And so the goal of this video is to show you, while Copilot will give you answers as well as ChatGPT, it is always recommended to use Copilot because that's what they're trained on. And while the results in ChatGPT are similar, it may not always be the most efficient and or the most accurate way to do it. Like I said earlier, option 2 is probably not something I would do because I'm not familiar with using Make. and I've never heard of it, so I wouldn't sign up for a new tool that I've never heard. And then I would only use the Thinkific API if I had a developer on my team who could do this. I would only use the Thinkific API with the help of a developer on my team to make sure that these are the correct endpoints and to check the Thinkific API documentation to make sure that this is accurate. But if this is accurate, then you can ask ChatGPT and or Copilot to write you a script. So I love it that, again, here, this is showing you that your assistant, your AI assistant, is here to guide you through all the steps and help you build this trigger. But again, you definitely don't want to do this on your own. I did this recently for a client with the help of a developer, and I will tell you it makes all the difference having someone who is a programmer evaluate the machine's logic steps to make sure that this is accurate. So I love that they have set this up and they've given me the framework, but I still need to check the records and then test this out. I hope this helps you evaluate that when you're using AI, check the results, check for the accuracies, and take advantage of someone who is more knowledgeable in programming and logic than you in this area. Now you can see the AI assistant has built some of the steps, but they haven't finished it all. There's some questions and concerns that we still need to figure out. And then we'll have to build the tables so that it can track how many attempts and by the student's name and course name. But I love that they've given me the framework. I can hand it off to a developer to finish. So I hope this video helps you see the differences between Zapier and ChatGPT for automation ideas. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.